Hi, Rebecca.
Hello, how are you, Ron?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Right.
Okay, I guess we will start now.
Okay.
Okay. So first of all, I guess that I have to speak in Bahasa first, Ronan, and later I will introduce you in English. Okay?
Very good.
Oke, selamat malam kepada seluruh peserta Becara pada malam hari ini. Kita di tanggal 26 Agustus 2020, kami dari Back Pro Royal Indonesia ingin mengucapkan selamat datang dan selamat bergabung buat seluruh peserta Becara 2020. Dan hari ini kita akan mengangkat satu topik, yaitu why do we call it smarter services. Dan kita sudah kedatangan satu orang pembicara, langsung dari Smarter Services di Irlandia, di Dublin, yaitu Ronan Clarke, yang nanti saya akan perkenalkan. Dan terima kasih untuk waktunya, dan kita berharap teman-teman semua ini bisa bergabung dari awal, pertengahan, hingga akhirnya. Dan sebelum kita mulai, ada beberapa hal yang ingin saya sampaikan terkait dengan tata acara kita di Becara ini. Ya. Sebelumnya saya ingin menjelaskan dulu bahwa Becara ini adalah satu acara bincang-bincang atau bicara tentang berbagai topik yang diselenggarakan oleh PT Back Pro Royal Indonesia. Dan ini bisa mengangkat topik apa saja ya, bisa berkaitan dengan Back Pro ataupun tidak berkaitan dengan Back Pro. Dan hari ini kita mengangkat topik yang berkaitan dengan Back Pro itu sendiri, yaitu produk Smarter Services. Dan pada Becara malam hari ini, itu akan kita mulai, dan kita sudah mulai sekarang, itu akan berakhir maksimal nanti di pukul 9 malam. Dan acaranya, rangkaiannya, itu kita mulai dengan perkenalan seperti sekarang. Lalu nanti setelah ini saya akan menjelaskan sedikit tentang siapa itu Back Pro Royal Indonesia, dan kemudian akan dilanjutkan masuk kepada acara intinya, yaitu presentasi materinya, Why Do We Call It Smarter Services atau Smarter Services oleh Ronan Clarke, ya, selama kurang lebih 45 menit sampai 1 jam. Lalu setelah itu nanti akan ada sesi tanya-jawab. Nah, untuk seluruh teman-teman yang ingin tanya-jawab, silakan tanya-jawab, bisa dalam bahasa Inggris ataupun bahasa Indonesia. Nanti silakan ditulis saja di chat, ya, di chat. Nanti saya akan bacakan dan saya akan sampaikan pertanyaannya kepada Ronan Clarke. Dan setelah itu nanti kita punya waktu kurang lebih 45 menit, ya, maksimal gitu untuk sesi tanya-jawab. Dan berhubung kami dapat informasi bahwa peserta Becara pada hari ini itu berasal dari peserta kompetisi Bekarya 2020 dan juga peserta umum, maka nanti kami akan sisihkan sedikit waktu untuk membahas tentang Becarya 2020, kompetisi dan detailnya. Jadi nanti mungkin teman-teman kalau ada yang mau tanya nanti juga bisa menyampaikan pertanyaannya juga nanti di chat. Dan setelah itu kita selesai dan seluruh peserta yang sudah hadir dan bergabung pada malam hari ini nanti akan mendapatkan elektronik sertifikat atau sertifikat online yang nanti akan kami kirimkan ke email teman-teman semuanya. Ya, saya pikir itu yang bisa saya sampaikan dan sekali lagi saya mengucapkan selamat bergabung buat teman-teman yang baru bergabung dan terima kasih banyak untuk waktunya kita sudah bergabung pada malam hari ini dan kita akan mulai dengan company profile dari Back Pro, apa yang ingin kami sampaikan tentang Back Pro ini sendiri. Jadi saya mewakili Back Pro, saya Rebecca, dan kebetulan saat ini saya menjadi Managing Director di PT Back Pro Royal Indonesia, dan acara ini kita selenggarakan sebenarnya tujuannya untuk berbagi informasi dan pengetahuan, dan bisa dengan topik apa saja. Dan Back Pro Royal Indonesia menginisiasi acara ini adalah sebagai penyelenggara acara Becara ini adalah perusahaan yang bergerak dalam bidang building material. Jadi kita itu menyediakan produk pada satu waktu spesifik khusus dan saat ini kita menyediakan produk dan mendistribusikan produk sebagai partner eksklusif dari Smarter Services di Indonesia. Jadi selain sebagai partner eksklusif Smarter Services Indonesia untuk mendistribusikan atau menjual produk Smarter Services di Indonesia, kita juga menjadi perusahaan yang bergerak dalam bidang konsultan service. Jadi kita memberikan jasa konsultasi service kepada perusahaan-perusahaan dan klien-klien yang ingin memperbaiki customer care, customer service, dan service journey buat customer-nya. Jadi mungkin itu yang bisa saya sampaikan terkait dengan Back Pro Indonesia. Nanti kalau misalkan ada pertanyaan, teman-teman boleh sampaikan di chat. Oke, sesi ini akan dibawakan oleh Ronan Clarke sebagai pembicara utamanya dan pembicara satu-satunya yang akan membahas materinya, dan akan disampaikan dalam bahasa Inggris. Dan sekarang saya ingin memperkenalkan terlebih dahulu Ronan Clarke kepada seluruh teman-teman yang ada di Becara ini. So thank you very much for joining us, Ronan Clarke. I would like to introduce you as the Managing Director and founder of Smarter Services from Dublin, Ireland, correct?
That is correct. You're all very welcome to Dublin.
Okay, and now we already have some participants that already joined with this event, and I would like to give you the opportunity, the chance, for like 45 minutes to 1 hour to explain regarding the topic, why do we call it Smarter Services. And I already give you the permission to join, to share screen, and you can share it. And I guess to make it very efficient, I would like to give the chance to you.
Okay, thank you. So nice to meet you all. So thanks, Rebecca, for the introduction. So my name is Ronan, and I'm the founder of Smarter Services. I'm going to speak to you today about what we do, why we do it, and how we work with architects, office designers, and their end users being typically businesses and schools to create workplaces and learning environments that are, about productivity, collaboration, engagement. So creating positive, modern work and learning spaces. I'll try not to speak too quickly. I have a habit for doing that, so please tell me if I'm speaking too quickly. So I thought I'd start with a very short video about how a business customer, so this office was designed by an architect in Dublin who, used Smarter Services products to try create areas of the design to make more interactive surfaces. So I'm going to play that video. It'll give you a sense of how some of the products are used. And from there, we can talk a little bit more about the products and the different ways, architects and designers can engage with them and talk to you about, the benefits to end users of having smart surfaces throughout the work or learning space. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen if it works, if I can. Okay. So hopefully, Rebecca, you'll be able to tell me if everyone can hear this.
Yes, it works, Ronan. You can continue. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. One second.
Pharma are a technology company, and we're also an education company. On the technology side, we develop smart machines, smart technologies that help pharmaceutical companies make their medicines in a safe and an affordable way for the patient. On the education side of the business, we develop programs that help people who want to work within the pharmaceutical sector and give them the right knowledge and the right skills to succeed in that sector. Innovation is at the heart of everything we do. On the technology division, we are developing these smart machines that are helping these pharmaceutical companies develop their medicines. So we are spending a lot of our time coming up with new ideas, working with customers to develop those solutions, develop those technologies. We're in the middle of an industrial revolution right now. It's called Industry 4.0, where all of these machines are starting to talk to each other, and we're using artificial intelligence to control processes in the pharmaceutical sector. So the technologies that are needed to make that revolution happen and the skills that are needed to make that happen are really, really important. The ability to have access to smarter surfaces, functional surfaces like this table or the board behind me, when we have new ideas, it just speeds up that communication, speeds up the sharing of those ideas. So instead of getting out a million post-its or getting our flip chart, we can just start writing on the table. We can start writing on our board, on our walls, and that's really powerful for the sharing of those ideas. Projection capability, the magnetic capability, and also the writing capability that we have, that's really powerful when sharing information with our students. The ability that you can stick through the magnetic capability, the additional information onto the wall, and then write over that. And then you have overlaid on that projected information. That just really means that the ability to share that information in a meaningful way is very, very powerful.
Okay, so thank you. I hope everyone was able to hear and see that. So, Rebecca, can you hear me okay?
Yes, very well.
Okay, great. So yeah, so that was an example of how a business customer, so they're a pharmaceutical and education training company, and that was an example how, you know, they were using the products to promote engagement, you know, to make the learning process for the students more meaningful. So it's a simple example, but that's the type of benefit that we try to give to end users by making surfaces. And you probably saw in there that it wasn't just walls, it was things like tables, you know, it can be things like doors. So it's very much about using all the available surfaces in an office or in an education environment to change how people interact with the space and how people interact with the surfaces. And also you may notice different colors come into play. So I'm now going to take you through some of the products, but we'll probably start off with a little bit more on the benefits that companies can take from the products. So this is the mission or the driver of all the products. When we talk about smarter surfaces, what do we mean? And this image here communicates that succinctly. So it's about changing how people work and learn. And from an architect and design perspective, it's about designing in the solutions that are going to promote that. So what do we do in smarter surfaces? It's about whiteboard, magnetic, and projectable surfaces. We're going to talk about a number of different functions, but as a company based here in Ireland, research and development is a very important pillar of our business, and innovation is a core part of that. So we invest heavily in future products and the evolution of products. And, you know, even in the world we find ourselves now, particularly around COVID and health, you know, it's putting demands on buildings and architects and designers to address those. And as a company involved in surfaces, we're certainly pushing our research and development to take into account those future needs. But our core functions are dry erase, magnetic, and projection, and the combination of those functions. And we achieve that to a range of different products. And that can be paints or coatings or wallpapers, or for example, a plaster. I'm not sure, is plaster a term people are familiar with in Indonesia, Rebecca?
Yes, we are familiar, yeah.
Okay, so if there's a term that maybe the translation isn't appropriate, you might just tell me and I can clarify. So that's how we do it. So a range of different application tools, and we'll talk about them. So if we look at the benefits, or what do the end users get out of these products? So I think, this ties to, the motivations of an architect or designer creating a space. So simply, it's about creating engaging spaces that are about productivity, improving communication and collaboration, and maximizing creativity and idea sharing, and designing a less formal and structured environment, that people are more relaxed in. And you will all be familiar, of course, with, how office design has evolved over the past 30 years. And, from the old traditional pod cubicles, much more open plan now, natural light, things like that. So we're certainly complementary to that. And then from a learning perspective, teaching environments that are collaborative, encouraging movement and productivity, and, about meetings which are more engaging. And we see a lot of technology coming into the meeting room now where, a portion of the attendees are not in the room. So our products can really help that, because the large wall surface area means they can see what's going on. Ideas can be going onto the walls, and they can engage in that process. And again, just really about transforming surfaces and giving surfaces a multifunction use. So not only can they look good, so they can be given themes, colors, designs, but we can overlay functionality on the aesthetic values. So I'll give you an example of that. For example, an architect or designer could design in a large office print, a digital print, which might maybe show, an image of a cityscape. So for example, it could be some large image that resonates with Indonesia, for example. We can put a magnetic layer behind that digital print. The digital print can go up, and we can add a dry erase layer to that. So the architect achieves the visual effect they required, for the design purposes. But we're able to, that surface has a, function now as well. So it not only looks beautiful, it's actually making a positive impact to productivity and the use of space. Okay, so if we talk about the first product, so we'll go through these relatively quickly, so there's time to ask questions. But one of the entry-level products is a whiteboard wallpaper. So this is literally a material that comes on a roll. It goes up like a roll of wallpaper with normal adhesive. It's a white finish, and it creates just a simple dry erase surface. So typically, that would be specified or designed into walls, doors, metal, things like that, but typically walls. I won't get into the application, and to give an example of the type of company, so IBM in Slovakia, I believe, put in 400 meters, and they actually did a lot of corridors, and you can see there one of the corridors and just been used as a working space. Okay, so one of our more popular products is our whiteboard paint. This product is it's actually one of the products you saw in that previous video. So it's a paint on coating that adds a dry erase surface. So very simple, but very flexible. I mean, because it can go around light switches, it goes around, things like window frames, door fittings. So very flexible in using any space. One of the benefits of this product, it's available in transparent. So it's a clear finish, which means it can go over a red wall, for example, a blue wall, yellow. We can put it over, designs like digital print, as I mentioned. So the transparent product allows you to keep the visual look you require or you desire, but also adding the function. Just from a design perspective and environmental accreditation, this product comes with LEED certification, fire certification, certification for M1 and VOC. So from a technical perspective, it's a very evolved product with a lot of research and development over many years and a lot of certification to support that. Okay. So just to talk about, you probably saw the table in that last image, and that table had a self-adhesive whiteboard film on it. This is a product that comes with, it's quite a thin or a narrow product. It comes with the adhesive on the back, and it's designed to stick to office furniture. So as you saw in the video, tables, but also think surfaces like, doors, staff lockers. Another popular installation for this is glass. What we find with end users who occupy buildings that are, very open plan, they actually find that the lack of working space, wall space, can be a hindrance. So we've seen a lot of companies come along after design stage and installing this material on glass partitions through sections. So that's an interesting use for that, but very flexible. So think of glass, think of office furniture, doors, and it's available in a white finish or a transparent finish or a low sheen finish, which can also be used for projection. Okay, so you can see, for example, there's an image of it being installed on a staff locker system. And there, for example, is tables you saw in the video. It was the transparent finish. These are a co-working space in Finland where they put the self-adhesive film on all the tables. It's quite a popular product in the school environment, where the desks now, you're probably familiar, but a lot of education is based around co-learning, where there might be 4 or 5 children at one large desk. And so we've seen a trend where these type of products are being designed into, the things like desks and that to, help the kids learn together and, project-based learning, which is the trend in education. So we're on to our magnetic products now. So we have a number of ways to achieve a magnetic. This is our magnetic wallpaper, a very simple product. It's applied just like a wallpaper, and it creates that magnetic layer. And then on top of that, we can add different functions. So this product is really magnetic alone, and then it would be overcoated. It might be with a digital print. It might be with a color, a chalkboard paint, a dry erase paint. But basically this product is magnetic only. The next product is our magnetic plaster. This is very popular. Actually, a lot of architects use it in their own offices because it allows them to hang very heavy items. So this product contains a very high quantity of magnetite, which makes it magnetically very strong. So things like bookshelves, like small television, can be fixed to the wall with just magnets. So really it allows an end user to have an extremely strong magnetic surface. And just to give you an indication, it's 75% pure magnetite. So it'll hold an awful lot of magnetic strength. And you can add, it's a 2-coat system, but if you want it ultra strong, you could just add another coat. So typical application would be walls. And again, this product is designed to be overcoated. So whatever the finish was on top of that, it's really a base material. Okay. And again, I mean, there's an image there just showing how, they're using magnets to stick lots of information. So you can see 3 functions in that. Well, 3 things happening. So they've got the color to match the tone of their design. They've got the magnetic performance, and of course it's writable. Okay, this is a paint version of that product. So the plaster is probably more of a professional installation. This is a paint installation. So it's literally a paint on magnetic coating. You can see the magnetite content drops a little bit to make it more suitable for painting, but still a commercial grade product. And again, as with all our products, with the supporting certification. Okay. So just some questions we get regularly on paint and magnetic products. You know, so I go with the second one there. So can I apply more than 4 coats of paint, or can I add extra magnetic plaster? So the answer is yes. If you want to add more magnetic strength, you just add more product. I'll go to the last question. So does it affect Wi-Fi signals or pacemakers? And we get asked this question quite a lot. So it doesn't interfere with any telephone signals or Wi-Fi signals. The material itself is magnetically receptive. So it's the little magnet that sticks. So there's no impact on telecommunications or anything like that. Okay. So we're going to move on now to projection products. So projection is a very popular use now in the office space, and we see, you know, this, whether it's video conferencing, you know, meetings. It's really it's a very popular product for us. And the range, we have a Projector Paint Pro, which is suitable for offices. This is used in normal ambient light, normal office projection equipments, and gives a certified projection performance. This product has a gain value of 1.1 at 140 degrees, but it's a very simple product in that it's just painted on. And you know, from an architect and design perspective, it really there's a lot of design savings, a lot of aesthetic savings. So this is a comparison of, you know, the different options. But if I give you a comparison to traditional projection solutions might be designed into an office, if you think about the electrical units that typically come down electronically from a ceiling, the amount of work that goes in and the cost of that. So there's a huge saving in terms of the aesthetics, but also in the cost. So you've got the electrical installation, you've actually got the cost of the unit, the second fix. So there's quite a lot of work and cost in a traditional solution, when actually the same performance can be achieved with just a coating. So that's become very popular. And then of course that allows maybe, you know, the budget there to be used for other surface upgrades. The next projection product is a little bit more specialist.
Apa yun?
Is that a question, Rebecca, or will I continue?
No, sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so the next one then is Projector Paint Contrast, and this is a little bit more specialist. So this is a dark gray product, and this is really used for home theaters, home movies, or where there's a specific projection requirement. But you'll see it's got a gain value of 0.1, so it's effectively sending back 10% of what the projector's putting out there. So it's really suited for low ambient light, like home movies or specific type projection. Okay. So into the final category now, we're going to talk about double and triple functionality products. And these are products where actually in a single installation, there's 3 functions, for example, in this. So this is a wallpaper that is magnetic, projectable, and dry erase in one product. So this is particularly popular in the education environment, but also it's used, I suppose, businesses as well. So really 3 functions in one. It's got that same projection standard, which you'll see there, and again comes with the supporting certification. So from a design perspective, the end user is able to get a lot of functionality onto a surface, you know, that looks good but delivers a lot of use. Again, this is the next product, which is 2 functions, magnetic and dry erase. It's the same principle, but just it has a different finish. So this one would not be used for projection, for example. Again, the dimensions and things like that. So for example, all of our products are a standard 10 square meter, so 1.22 meters wide, so quite a, you know, commercial width, and that's like that to minimize joint construction. Okay, and now these are non-magnetic, so this is a whiteboard wallpaper that has two functions. It's projectable and it's dry erase. So available in different finishes depending on the needs or the uses of the end user, or who the architect or designer might envision the end user needs to be. But I suppose you can see, you know, it's very different to sticking a whiteboard on a wall, and that's the big difference between these products and, you know, just sticking a whiteboard on a wall. When you place a standard, you know, 1 meter by 1.4 meter board in the center of a wall in a meeting room, it doesn't change how people use the space. It really just, you know, creates a working surface, yes, but what you see with these products is it really changes how people engage with the space. So they're simple, but they have a powerful effect on how people use and communicate and work together. Okay, so this again is a projectable low sheen. We looked at a self-adhesive product earlier, the one on the table, for example, for clear. This is a projectable version of that that's dry erase. And again, typically you would see it in glass partitions or things like that. They're also quite popular for refurbishing older surfaces like older whiteboards or older chalkboards or things like that, and modernizing them. So that's a video of a table being installed. And our final product is a customizable board, which means we now create for customers boards which are branded, which are, you know, cut to shape, size. So what you saw in the video in a pharmacy, you can see there, it has their branding, it's got their design logo artwork to the side. And again, for example, this is one in our own office, which has got a picture of the globe. I mean, we ship globally. We can see little Ireland here. I think we can see Indonesia here too, but it's branded, it's communicating a message. So it's kind of popular in boardrooms or maybe in areas where they want to communicate a branding message, but also have some functionality. Okay, so we have a full range of supporting accessories, which I probably won't go into now, but just to say that the entire system is available then to support the installation and things like that. So I won't go into that, but I think that takes us to questions. And I suppose I just wrap up there by saying that all of those products through BecPro, you know, come with all the technical support. So whether that's MSDS, certification, performance certificates, things like that. So that takes us to the end. So I've left time really just to, you know, talk about questions, answers, or, you know, whatever you guys would like to ask.
Okay, thank you very much, Ronan, for your explanation. So now we will open the Q&A session, right?
Sure.
And I'm trying to write a message to everyone for them to start to ask questions. Oke, silakan teman-teman. Tadi kita sudah mendengar penjelasan dari Ronan Clarke terkait dengan produk Smart Services. Dan sekarang kita sudah masuk kepada sesi tanya-jawab. Jadi silakan bagi teman-teman yang ingin bertanya tentang produk Smart Services, silakan bisa menuliskan pertanyaannya pada kolom chat yang ada. Dan nanti saya akan bacakan dan sampaikan kepada Ronan Clarke. Sebelumnya saya ingin menyampaikan secara singkat ya, atau melakukan ringkasan lah ya, meringkas dari pembicaraan yang atau penjelasan yang disampaikan oleh Ronan. Jadi produk Smart Services ini berasal dari Irlandia ya, dan ini adalah produk yang memang mengubah permukaan menjadi smart, lebih berfungsi, lebih baik, lebih memiliki kegunaan begitu ya. Jadi kalau misalkan dinding biasanya sebagai pembatas, sekarang kita bisa membuat dinding itu tidak hanya sebagai pembatas, tapi juga bisa sebagai papan tulis, juga sebagai tempat untuk yang memiliki daya magnet dan juga sebagai layar proyektor. Nah, itu salah satu yang disampaikan oleh Ronan tadi. Dan smart surfaces ini itu memiliki 4 tipe produk. Yang pertama itu tadi ada yang dry erase, itu untuk papan tulis, ya. Kemudian yang kedua nanti untuk berfungsi sebagai papan atau permukaan yang memiliki daya magnet. Jadi kita bisa menempel segala sesuatu yang berbau magnet di permukaan tersebut. Lalu yang ketiga itu untuk proyektor, jadi layar proyektor. Ya, jadi biasanya di banyak tempat kita menggunakan layar proyektor seperti screen, ya, yang harus kita beli terpisah atau dipasang terpisah untuk menjadi layar proyektor atau screen proyektor. Kemudian yang keempat itu adalah kombinasi dari ketiga fungsi tersebut. Jadi selain masing-masing, ada yang bisa hanya fungsi papan tulis, ada yang bisa hanya fungsi untuk magnetik, dan juga ada yang hanya fungsi sebagai layar proyektor, tapi nanti juga ada yang kombinasi. Bisa kombinasi dia layar proyektor dengan papan tulis, atau papan tulis dengan magnetik, atau ada yang ketiga fungsi tersebut dalam satu produk. Ya. Dan sudah disampaikan juga bahwa produk ini untuk bentuk fisiknya ada yang berbentuk cat, ada yang berbentuk wallpaper, dan ada juga yang berbentuk plaster. Ya. Nah, itu tadi kurang lebih ringkasan daripada penjelasan Ronan sebagai Managing Director dan Founder daripada Smart Surfaces di Irlandia. Ya, sekali lagi selamat datang buat seluruh teman-teman yang baru bergabung. Ya, tadi sudah mendengarkan penjelasan dari Ronan terkait dengan produk Smart Surfaces, dan saya mengundang buat teman-teman yang ingin melakukan tanya jawab, ingin bertanya, silakan menuliskan pertanyaannya pada kolom chat, ya. Agar teman-teman memiliki gambaran, khususnya buat teman-teman yang ingin mengikuti kompetisi Becara 2020 ya, untuk mendapat gambaran sebenarnya produk ini itu mungkin fungsinya seperti apa, detailnya seperti apa, aplikasinya seperti apa, nanti teman-teman bisa tanyakan pada kolom chat, sehingga teman-teman punya bayangan dan gambaran bagaimana produk ini diaplikasikan. Oke, silakan bagi teman-teman, jangan malu-malu, silakan disampaikan pertanyaannya. Kalau ada yang tidak mengerti, boleh ditanya juga bagian mana yang tidak dimengerti atau bagian mana yang perlu diulang lebih lanjut, nanti kita bisa ulang lebih lanjut. Okay, Rona, I'm trying to explain briefly to them regarding your explanation, and I guess that now they are trying to give questions, so we will try to answer question one by one. First is from Franz Alexander. They said, hello everyone, I have a question about these smart surfaces. Does this product must use special ink for the markers or feel free to use another marker? And will this ink stain the paper or clothes if we accidentally rub it with our clothes? So maybe you can answer directly.
Okay, so thanks, Franz. So no, you do not need special ink or anything like that. These are used with standard, anything you can use on a whiteboard. So it's the exact same as a whiteboard. You can use whiteboard markers. You can even use permanent markers. You can remove permanent ink. So one use is with permanent markers is to create maybe grid lines if you want to use it for a particular purpose. But the answer to your question is no, you can use any type of marker you would use with a traditional whiteboard. And of course, if you're for some of our chalk products, you can use chalk, chalk. So it's very normal standard products. And like anything, they'll typically wash if they happen to get on clothes. It's just a normal process for washing as you would with a normal whiteboard marker.
Okay, so I guess it's clear for the question from Franz that we can use any type of marker. So we don't have any specific or special marker for this Smart Surfaces product. And also you just use to follow the standard cleaning if it appears to your clothes. Okay, the second question is from Muhammad Arif. So he asked regarding whether this product can be applied to any surface or any wall, such as like the wall from the wood. Is that possible?
Yeah. Okay, Muhammad, thanks for the question. So yes, you can apply it to pretty much any surface, but for example, with wood, you would have a little preparation. So in that case, you would have a primer. So there would just be different preparation methods for different surfaces. So natural wood, for example, would require a primer. You know, maybe a freshly plastered wall would use a primer because it'd be quite absorbent. So there's a couple of preparation steps, but once the surface is reasonably smooth, there's no problems. And if the surface is not smooth, you might use a product like our plaster to prepare it and make it ready. But the answer to your question is, it's very flexible, most surfaces with a little preparation.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ronan. We move to the third question from Hilman Imanuddin. He said, good evening. He would like to ask regarding the product that made by the paint. What kind of the variants of the colors for this paint?
Okay. Thanks, Hilman, for the question. Good evening to you too. So with the paint, so the whiteboard paint is available in two versions. One is white and the other is transparent or clear. And the great thing about the clear version means you can have any color, because you choose, for example, if you want a blue wall, you paint your wall the blue color, your standard blue paint, and then you put the clear or transparent smart paint on top. So that means you can have it in any color by putting a transparent paint on top.
Okay, perfect.
Does that make sense?
Sorry?
Does that make sense to Hilman, what I'm saying about the transparent coating?
Okay, Hilman, if you would like to say something, and then you can unmute the microphone and then you can ask directly. I guess we already answered 3 questions. For everyone, please feel free to ask any question through chat, or you can unmute your microphone and then we can speak directly to Ronan regarding your question. Is there any question anymore? Okay, just to summarize that I've answered the answer from Ronan, just to summarize that we have 3 questions from the first is regarding the marker, that we can use any marker for the Smarter Surfaces product. So we don't need any specific or special marker for Smarter Surfaces product. And actually this is regarding the dry erase product. And for the, if the instant mark in our clothes, so we don't have any specific or special treatment as well, we can use the normal treatment for cleaning our clothes. And second, regarding this product, this can be applied to any surface, to any type of surface. But for the wood, for example, we just need to have more preparation. We have another special treatment. For example, we can use the primer first, and then later we apply the paint. And the primer itself, it's also provided by the Smarter Surfaces product. So don't worry, we already have it in one brand. I mean, that you just can buy it as an additional product. And the third is regarding the color of the paint. You have the option whether it's white or clear. So for the white, you have for white color, and clear, you can use any color. It means that you just need to apply the color that you want, and after that we can have the another surface from Smarter Surfaces with the transparent one. Okay, so now we already have another question. So we start the question from, sorry. Okay, now we have the 4th question. This is from William Saputra. He asked regarding whether is there any product or furniture that will reduce the effectivity of the whole of the Smarter Surfaces.
So thanks, William, for the question. So we haven't come across anything. I would say avoid very high heat. So like an extremely high heat, but actually normal conditions. So the surfaces are very flexible, and they come with typically a 10-year performance warranty. So they're very robust. So unless there's something like extreme heat, in a typical office or learning environment, there is nothing that would interfere with the performance of the product. And again, like at Smarter Surfaces, we would warranty that performance.
Okay. The second question from William Saputra also, this is there any special treatment to ensure the durability of the Smarter Surfaces?
No, but we would recommend, normal accessories are used. So for example, in a school that maybe the products are not cleaned with bleach or aggressive cleaning chemicals, so that, the users would use typically, just normal cleaning products you would use to clean a whiteboard, for example, and that aggressive chemicals that might be used on a floor, for example. So just a little bit of guidance to the end users. And that, of course, would be available on our website or from BecPro in terms of guidance for cleaning. So really just the obvious, no harsh chemicals.
Okay, perfect. The fifth question is from Husnal Fatah. He said, good evening, and he would like to know regarding the thickness of the magnetic product. It's how thick, and then regarding the magnetic product, then can we adjust the shape of the magnetic product, that we can make a special shape for that?
Yeah, good evening, Husnal. Yeah, so the magnetic wallpapers run from 120 mils down to 600 mils. So if you think maybe the thickness of, a credit card or 2 credit cards, that would be typically the thickness of the wall coverings. The magnetic paint and plaster would be based on the number of coats applied, but the dry film thickness, again, would probably be about 600 mils. So, it's again, think credit card or 2 credit cards for the heavier product. Sorry, what was the second question?
The second question, whether the magnetic product can be adjusted, the shape can be just adjusted or not.
Yeah, so if you think of the wallpapers, it's very flexible, so it can go around curves, things like that. Probably not 90 degrees, but certainly it's quite flexible, and it, to follow the texture of a surface. Whereas if you want to go around very flexible uses, of course, the paint or a liquid application, so that'll, that's 100% flexible. It'll go around 90-degree corners and things like that. So you can choose probably what's appropriate, but the wall coverings would be flexible to a degree, and the coatings, of course, are fully flexible on application.
Okay. So I guess it's already clear for William Saputra and Husnal Fatah for the last 2 questions. And I would like to invite others to ask as well any question that you would like to know regarding this this event, the presentation from Ronan Clarke regarding Smarter Surfaces. Please feel free to ask and to write your questions in the chat column, and we will answer your questions. And I would like to repeat again the answer for William Saputra regarding the question regarding the effectivity of the product itself. Is there any product or furniture that can be disturbing or reducing the effectivity of the Smarter Surfaces product? The answer is no. There is no specific product or furniture that can reduce the effectivity, and we have 10 years warranty from Smarter Surfaces to ensure that we are very robust to ensure the quality of our product. And also the second question from William Saputra, is there any special treatment to ensure the durability of the Smarter Surfaces product? The answer is we don't need like the special treatment, just use the normal cleaning for the whiteboard as usual, for the wallpaper. So we just use the normal treatment. There's no special treatment. And the question from Husnal Fatah regarding the thickness of the product, it's like to make it easier, that just like 1 to 2 credit cards, right, Ronan?
Correct, yeah.
Yes, and then whether we can adjust the shape or not, yes, the answer is yes. The magnetic product, we can adjust the shape because it's very flexible. not only the magnetic product, also with the paint, also with the wallpaper. I guess it's very flexible, correct, Ronan?
That's correct.
Okay. Now we have another question from Jafar Rashid. He asks whether the magnetic itself, it can be disappear or diminish if the heat come to the surface continuously. Is that possible that the magnetic itself, it will be disappear or not? And whether it will be applied because of the heat from the sun. Also, whether we have the temperature, the hot temperature continuously in the room.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Jafar. Okay. So the material is magnetically receptive. So if you think it's a magnetite powder going through the product, so that will never stop being magnetically receptive. What breaks down over time are the little magnets. So over many years, the little magnets and accessories people use need to be replaced. But the smarter surfaces product won't, the performance, the magnetic receptive performance of that will not change. However, the little magnets that people pick up in, office supply stores do degrade over years. So the smarter surfaces product won't change over life. And in terms of application and heat is not an issue. Like heat won't change the stability, the magnetite. And during application, it's normal. I mean, the product is water-based, so it dries through evaporation. So if it's very warm, it might dry very quickly, but there's no real issue there. If I've answered your question properly.
Okay, so it means the question from Java, you answered that because this magnetic is receptive, so it won't change forever, you mean, right?
Correct. It's the little magnet. So when you buy a magnet, the magnet will change over times, but they're, like $1, they were just replaced every few years.
Okay. It means the surface that we apply the smarter surfaces product for the magnetic receptive, it won't change forever. But for the magnetic, that the small magnetic that you have to put into the surface, that we have to change it, right? Because it will be reduced due to time, right?
Yeah, they typically last years depending on the.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Meanwhile, we are waiting for another questions from other participants. I would like to ask regarding, for example, that there are clients or customer that they already apply the smarter surfaces in the surface. Is that possible if we would like to recovery again to make it back on normal?
Yeah, so sometimes we see that where offices are maybe leased for 10 years or 5 years, and there's a condition in the contract to return the office to the original state. Right. And actually for the smart wall paint, you just paint over it, so it's like it's never there. So you just apply a primer and paint over it. The wallpapers can be removed just like a typical wallpaper, or paint over them. So the answer is it's relatively straightforward. You either paint over them or remove them.
Okay. So you mean
I think typically most landlords are happy to keep them though.
Yeah, it's true. So you mean regarding the paint, if you would like to make it disappear from the wall, so we just paint over.
Correct. Just apply a primer and then paint as normal.
Okay, perfect. And then for the wallpaper, we just need to take it, right?
Well, you can paint over the wallpaper as well or remove it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so another question that regarding the warranty, maybe our participants would like to know regarding the warranty for every product. Is that the same, or we have the specific for every product?
The vast majority of products are 10 years. There's a couple of them are 5 years, but the warranty refers to the performance of the product. And that, we give that with every product we manufacture. So it's very important to us, our products are designed for commercial environments. So they'll stand up to the wear and tear of, you know, heavy usage, and, you know, we underwrite that performance for the period of the guarantee, typically 10 years.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and another question, how to define which one that will be proper for us regarding, because there will be like paint, wallpaper, or plaster, which type that it's, what is the consideration that we have to take a look?
I mean, I always say when, you know, talking to, you know, an office architect or an end user client directly, what are they going to use it for? So, you know, what business are they in? What is that area going to be used? And to try just anticipate the needs of the customer, and then layer on top of that, you know, the visuals. So if we, you know, if we say, okay, well, it's going into a meeting room, you know, there's up to 20 people or 10 people in that meeting room, you know, there's going to be a lot of engagement in that space. So you'd be thinking magnetic and writable as a minimum. Maybe they're going to use projection. So then, you know, the consideration would be, well, also what's the look of that room? So do we want to have, you know, colors? So, you know, are we trying to have a theme throughout the office, maybe that's yellow or something? So in that case, you know, we might go for the clear paint. So a magnetic product, you know, the yellow corporate colors and a clear paint on top. Maybe it's a budget conscious client, so we might have to maybe factor in just one wall, you know, that's designed for projection capability and magnetic, and maybe then the other walls are just dry erase capability. But I would say very much just to understand what the, you know, the needs of the client are. In each of the categories, there's lower cost solutions. For example, the 3-in-1 wall covering would be the premium product in terms of performance and, you know, design, aesthetics. You know, it's a very high quality product. A lower cost way of achieving the same function is to go with the magnetic paints and the dry erase paint on top. So the installation cost is a little higher, but the product cost. So when you're looking at it, you can take that approach, you know, the needs of the client and the budget, so to kind of maybe have a mixture of solutions.
Okay, perfect. Okay, is there any specific reason, I mean, that you already explained in your presentation regarding the benefit of this product, like how to make it very simple communication, like why do we need smarter surfaces for building nowadays?
Yeah, well, I mean, if we bring it back to the people, you know, and we bring it back to the simple, I mean, you know, there's an awful lot of technology in the world, but I think, you know, we see people are, you know, we're simple creatures, I think, in a lot of ways, and we like to communicate, we like to engage, and, you know, for people to have a meaningful work experience, you know, these are simple tools that create that environment. And, you know, I think companies put a lot of effort and a lot of thought in creating a positive workspace. You know, and, you know, a lot of companies go to a lot of extreme lengths to make employees happy and to drive productivity. And these are really simple ways of contributing to that, you know, making a positive workspace and, you know, making it a fun environment to work in. You know, we've all seen the old traditional offices, you know, the dark color and pods, and they're not really very inviting places. So these are a simple way of, you know, making improvements from a productivity perspective, you know, from an engagement perspective, you know, and so it kind of ticks a number of boxes. And really it's about the individuals and people, and certainly the feedback. If you talk to people who use offices, you know, or use these products, the feedback is very positive. And I would say that most of our customers tend to be repeat customers, and they start out with products in maybe a number of rooms or in the trial area, and they typically are back and they're increasing the use of the products in different areas over the life. And we would see the same relationships with, you know, architects and designers. They've used the products in 1 or 2 products, and in the vast majority of cases they tend to go on and continue to, because there is a tangible benefit.
Okay, very good. And the next question regarding the projector screen, right?
Yeah.
I mean that you know perfectly that sometimes we just use the wall for the projector screen, right? Then what is the difference then we use the wall we use the smarter surfaces product for the projector screen?
Yeah, and I would say, like, if a small business, is using a, a $100 or $200 desktop projector, that's fine. But I think the difference is when, when a company is using projection for serious, where they're actually trying to put in, a high resolution image, or, important presentations or video conferencing. The big difference is the definition of the image. So if you're using, good quality projection equipment, you would certainly see the difference. So really, it's what's suitable for the client. So I would think if an architect or designer is thinking about a drop-down projection surface, the solution, I think, for Projector Paint Pro would be the equivalent, of course, at a fraction of the cost. But if it's a small business with 5 employees, that doesn't, I think it's perfectly acceptable to go onto projection normal paint. So it's just really different. But there's certainly the performance of the projection paint gives that resolution, gives the the light reflective values and the gain value that any kind of middle to high ranging projection equipment would require.
Okay. And since I guess many people, as our participants now, they are the architect, they're from the college, the undergraduate students from architecture. So maybe it will be interesting for you to explain regarding how it is work, the architecture in Ireland.
Yeah. I suppose construction, projects in Ireland are, the architect is engaged from, design stage, the planning process, right through to design. And typically it is the same architect that stays with the project from start to finish. When the projects go to maybe major office construction, the architect would take the building to structure stage, and then the interior architects would step in. But Ireland, we're a small country here, so typically the highest, the probably tallest building in Dublin is maybe 10 stories. So, and there's not too many of those, so typically they're 5 or 6 stories. So but very much like, there would be a lot of A-class office. So we've seen the same trends here as globally. And as some of you may be aware, Ireland, we've attracted the European headquarters for all the major multinationals. So like, office design, the trends we've seen here, we see globally. And I suppose we're a company that operates now in about 30 countries. So we see the same trends from an architect's perspective. But I think the other side, I see the same needs in the workplace in an A-class office versus a small company, that's, there's maybe 50 employees, and, they're refurbishing a existing building, that maybe the light isn't amazing and the architect is trying to resolve natural light issues. I think these tools are just another, these products are just another tool in the architect or office designer's, toolbox to make it more than just, a place with a chair and a desk and and some electrical fittings, to actually make a workplace that really benefits the end user. So from the company's perspective, it's productivity and employee retention, and a good place to work. And from the actual people sitting in those chairs, it's about a positive workspace, one that encourages engagement between all the other people in the space. So I think these are, simple products that actually allow an architect or designer, whatever the setting, to have an impact beyond just the basic function.
Okay. So I would like to invite to everyone again, regarding if you want to ask question to Ronan regarding the smarter surfaces or maybe the architecture in Ireland, that please feel free to write your questions in the chat column. And meanwhile, I would like to inform you as well, Ronan, that BeCpro is conducting the kind of competition, design competition. We call it the Becara. And then we invite them to join this Zoom meeting as well. Not all of them are in here now, I guess. but maybe we would like to explain to you as well regarding the concept of this competition, that we would like to invite them to make the design for like a one room that can be useful for three functions. First is for the working space, and second for the studying space, because nowadays that we have to make the study online as well. And also the third is for the relaxation room. And we would like to invite all of them to make the design for this one room with three functions. And
it's funny you say that. It actually sounds like the type of room a lot of people have when trying to work from home now as well.
Yeah. Because we have to work from home, study from home. So we would like to make the design for one room with three functions. And we would like to ensure all of them that they will put the smarter surfaces product, because for sure this is very important for the people to have the surface that they can write as free as they can. Maybe you have like any speech or whatever you would like to say to support them.
That's interesting. Interesting concept. Well, I suppose what I'd say, like, you know, very difficult to design a relaxing room that's plain white, and I think you know the ability of the transparent, you know, the clear paint means you can use colors, you can use, you know, wallpapers, digital prints, and maintain that functionality, so you can actually create the workspace or the working surfaces without them actually looking like working surfaces. So, you know, if you're creative with the use of those products, I think you could probably, you know, choose aesthetics, you know, that might bring the other elements. So I think there's a degree of flexibility in maybe the transparent product and using the magnetic products that are hidden behind other functional layers. So I think that's very interesting. And we certainly have a couple of products there that might help that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so thank you very much, Ronan. I guess we are waiting for their questions. But if we don't have more questions from them, I guess we already reached the final session.
Yeah. One final thing I just thought maybe I might share very briefly with the guys, just so they can get a...
Sure.
I just want to give you a kind of a feel for, you know, the type of... These are all clients of Smarter Surfaces in many different countries. And I think, you know, I think the guys or the attendees there, you might see probably a lot of names you recognize. So we've kind of included, you know, the ones people might recognize, but you can see the large corporates there. And if we look at the, you know, from an education perspective, you know, you'll see like the world famous Eton, Georgetown University, the Goethe Institute. You'll have to excuse my pronunciation of that one. You know, the International School of Dusseldorf, they're a huge customer of ours, which is, you know, so you can see a lot of the like global leaders in, you know, what would be, I suppose, a lot of companies here would be considered global leaders, not just in their industry, but I think also as employers, you know, trying to, you know, for their workspace as well. And interestingly, like we see a lot of aerospace companies and, you know, like the Royal Air Force, the United States Air Force, the US Military Academy. So we see a lot of kind of famous clients there, but I think their needs are all the same. Yeah, so I just thought that I'd share that with you guys so you could see the type of companies that see benefit in these type of products, and you know, the architects who are designing them in, because these are largely specification-led sales.
Okay, so Rona is trying to show to us, since this product is very new, it's very green in Indonesia, but in other countries, as Ronan said, that Smarter Surfaces itself is already operated for like in 30 countries, correct, Ronan?
Yeah.
Yes, in 30 countries. So it's already well known in other countries, but this is a very green project for Indonesia. But Smarter Surfaces and BackPro, we are very happy to introduce this product to the market in Indonesia. And we hope that maybe all of the participants here can have the benefit to know more about this product, and also to trust this product, because there are so many companies, there are so many architect firms that already have the collaboration with smarter surfaces around the world. Okay. Is there anything that you would like to share and explain, Ronan?
No, that's it. I just to say, I suppose we're, you know, as Rebecca touched on there, we're I suppose working now with architects, designers, and end users in many parts of the world, and you know, I suppose we've a proven track record supporting that. So it's been a pleasure for me to speak to you all today. I hope we've given you some value, and thank you all very much.
Okay, so from BackPro, we would like to say thank you very much for Ronan as the keynote speaker today for our event, Becara. And we would like to invite you for another events in the future. So we hope that you are happy with this event. And thank you very much for all of the participants, for you as well. And thank you for the questions. And maybe after this that you can leave this event, because we just like have 5 to 10 minutes to explain regarding the detail of the competition, because I would like to speak in Bahasa for explaining this. So thank you very much, Ronan, for your time.
And it was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yes, stay safe, stay healthy. See you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.